Then good morning to all of you. I know that you are actually waiting for a long period, and on behalf of ASSOCHAM also, and on behalf of this panel, I first apologize for this session till the DCM and Minister comes. In fact, it's extremely very well designed panel by ASSOCHAM. Thank you very much for inviting all of us. In today's context, Ms. Wavila ma'am, she's here. She's currently, as you are all aware, that she's vice chairman and managing director of TG Redco, which is actually driving the entire renewable energy movement, energy conservation movement and efficiency movement. I mean to say that energy transition movement in Telangana today. And thank you very much for here. More than almost 30 years of experience within the power sector, and at the helm of affairs today, she is here. And I warmly welcome Murali Surapaneni Garu. Thank you very much. CEO, Axis Energy Ventures India Limited. Axis Ventures, Energy Ventures, you all know, is a renewable energy development company focused on building and scaling clean energy project across India. It works across the project life cycle from development and financing to execution with a focus on utility scale and commercial renewable energy. He leads the organization as CEO, bringing deep experience in energy project development and investment to drive India's transition to cleaner power. Thank you very much for joining today. I would like to introduce Rishik also. Thank you very much for joining. VP, Business Strategy and Renewable Energy Control S Data Center. Control S is one of India's largest and most advanced data center companies, offering hyperscale and enterprise-grade colocation services to clients across banking, technology, and government sectors. As data centers become, we all know, increasingly power-hungry, Control S has been actively working on integrating renewable energy into its operations to meet both business and sustainability goals. Rishik leads business strategy and renewable energy at Control S, sitting at the crossroads of digital infrastructure growth and the clean energy. Now I would like to introduce Srinivas ji. Thank you very much. You are a well-known figure in this Telangana and AP. Solar Bull Energy is a solar energy company focused on delivering end-to-end solar solutions for commercial, industrial, and residential customers. The company works on rooftop and ground-mounted solar projects, helping customers reduce energy costs and transition to cleaner power sources. He's co-founded Solar Bull to focus on making solar energy accessible and financially viable for a wide range of customers across India. I would like to welcome Venkat Rajaraman Garu. Thank you very much for joining us. Founder and CEO, Signi Energy, a well-known company in the Indian energy storage that designs and manufactures advanced lithium-ion battery systems for a range of applications. I think you have started well before anyone thought about the energy storage, right from the 2014. And that is what Venkat Rajaramanji is known for here. Including e-mobility, telecom, solar storage, and industrial use, founded with the mission of making energy storage reliable and affordable in India. Signi has built a reputation for engineering-led solutions tailored to local conditions and use cases. He founded and leads the company, bringing a technology-first approach to solving India's energy reliability and solar challenges. So with the extremely experienced panel today, it is very difficult task for me to ask questions to this panel, but then I will try my best. At the verge of that energy transition and then the energy security which is there across the geopolitical tensions and all, I think this particular session becomes very, very important as renewable energy, grid resilience and powering data centers. Because the energy transition, it is happening. We all know that we are moving towards new energy technologies, energy resources and all, and renewable energy. And at the same time, at what extent we are planning to have that grid resilience? What extent are we ready to absorb this energy transition into the grid? At what extent this particular kind of new things which are coming up, which are power hungry, like data centers, are we really updated to that? Are we really upgraded towards that? And are we ready to absorb that? With that question, I think today the ma'am is here who is leading the entire energy transition in Telangana. Right from the energy storage to the solar to the data center and access energy systems, which develops the entire renewable energy segment. So we are all here today, and to start with this particular session, I would like to ask Vavila ma'am. Thank you very much. Telangana is really is emerging one of India's most proactive states today, and at the renewable energy and clean energy transition, as far as India is growing. What do you feel? Means where is Telangana? Where you are trying to put Telangana in this particular energy transition, and what is our preparedness for this energy transition across these segments? Over to you, ma'am.
A very good morning to all the dignitaries on the dais, and thank you, Rajkiran, for recognizing Telangana's transition into RE power. See, when we discuss about Telangana and RE power together, everybody comes with a question: where's the land availability? So I do agree for RE, so land availability is a little bit difficult in Telangana. In 2024, I think, in September, October, so Telangana state government in a conference declared that we are going to establish 20 gigawatts of RE power by 2030 and 40 gigawatts by 2035. Then how to achieve it? See, initially we were a little bit confused, so how to go with it? Land availability is very less in Telangana, and now we are with a clear picture. See, we have almost 13 to 14 gigawatts of floating solar capacity, and we have 6 gigawatts of wind capacity, and at 150 meters of height, we do have a lot of wind capacity. 150 meters, I think 50 gigawatts. With latest technologies, I think achieving wind efficiency at 120 meters height is possible. And what we are thinking is, and one more thing, agrivoltaics. And central government and state government are also, both are keen on agrivoltaics. And next scheme, central government is coming with agrivoltaics. So we can do agriculture and solar together. And what Telangana is planning for a decentralized RE development. Decentralized means near evacuation near 33 by 11 kV substations. So when we thought of evacuation of wind energy at 33 by 11 kV substations, initially I thought it is a little bit difficult, but I was there with many consultants. In last week, I attended the conference on wind energy at Goa. See, it is possible. So what we are planning is, we are planning to make small clusters with 10 acres and 15 acres. See, we can go for a 5 megawatt wind turbine in that. Around that, we can plan either we can plan solar or we can do agriculture. For that, only 1 acre land is required, and 10 acres we will go with agriculture or solar. And with this, we are planning BESS also, battery energy storage systems. This forms a complete RTC power. So at 33 by 11 kV level itself, we are achieving reliability of supply, and it's sustainable, and it is sort of microgrid. This is what we are planning to do, and we already formed a high-level committee for floating solar, and there is a energy transition committee under the chairmanship of our Chief Secretary, sir, and it includes agriculture, irrigation officials, MA and Judy, transport department, everything. And we do have a solar potential of 20 gigawatts. And we are planning about, and I think Telangana is the first state did experiment on geothermal. It's very small capacity, but on experimental basis, it's okay. And we already called for tenders for 1500 megawatts battery system. And we are leading in Kusum A, that is decentralized power plants by farmers. And rooftop solar also, because you all know in the state of Telangana, 200 up to 200 units electricity is free, but nobody is coming forward for this PM Suryagar. But to avail this PM Suryagar subsidy and to encourage these rooftop systems, state itself took a step, and we are going with 40,000 rooftop installations. It's a state government grant and central government PM Suryagar subsidy. And one more thing, we are going for off-grid solar pump sets also. I think with all these things, we can achieve a target of 20,000 gigawatts of RE power by 2030. As of now, that's all.
Thank you very much. In fact, you explained it in a very, very effective way that how Telangana is planning and how Telangana is moving across the segments of energy transition, right from the solar, wind to the rooftop and then even Kusum. That is what I think all the people who have gathered here, they want to listen it from you, that how we are going it and then how we can actually involve ourselves in this particular kind of development. With that perspective, my next question to Murli Garu, that you have seen this development, you have seen at national level as well as global level, and coming to Telangana, as compared to the national level development in other states development and the Telangana development, what is your perspective that how we should actually plan it, whether are we going in the right direction, or what are those particular kind of issues and challenges which we are going to face for a developer as well as all the people who are going to invest in Telangana, and how we can take it up further. So I request you to please throw some light on that.
Thank you, all the fellow panelists on the dais. I think Madam has set the context in a very beautiful way. I was personally involved in setting up the first wind project, which is one of the largest wind project, 100 megawatt project. I was physically doing this project. So taking clue from what she says on the land, I'll just cite a few numbers. When we did this project, I think the first acre of land I bought was at 1.7 lakhs per acre. Okay, it's in a place called Parigi, which is very close to maybe less than 100 kilometers from the place where we sit. And today the land prices in this area have gone up to anywhere between 70-80 lakh rupees to a crore of rupees. So, like Madam has said, and with the formation of the new state and with the formation of the new districts, and every district becoming an economic nerve center, land has become the commodity which is not available for RE project development. I think, well, that happens to be one of the disadvantage. We are actually looking at developing projects on lease kind of land, and I think Telangana as a state, this primarily is the challenge. And secondly, what I could see as a challenge was non-availability of large-scale, grid integration that has happened. Unlike all other states where CTUIL and they have actually brought in a lot of substations, Telangana actually couldn't get those stations because of all these very valid reasons. And I think once again, large contiguous land parcels required for solar is not what is available. So I think agri-PV and agri-PV solar, where agricultural activity and the power generation activity go hand in hand, I think we should go beyond the Kusum scheme. I think probably one policy that needs to be set up in the state of Telangana is coming up with a dedicated agri-PV policy. So being at the helm of affairs of the National Solar Energy Federation of India, we have actually done a big study engaging some of the German agencies on how the large-scale solar implementation in terms of agri-PV has to happen. But I think there needs to be some kind of an offtake that has to get issued at least for the first 500-700 megawatt of projects, so that they actually depict and very clearly establish that on ground and depict that this is a possible thing. I think Madam has set most of those things in motion, so very little for us to actually speak about.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, she has set the tone. In fact, she has given the entire roadmap. And then people like you are really taking it to the different level of direction and then implementation in the state. And I think with that perspective, as you mentioned, though it is a land or all decentralized distribution, how those policies can work out. Even in the PM Surya Ghar Yojana, where she is mentioning that it is not really taking up it in Telangana in a very effective way. With that particular kind of context and question, I go to Mr. Srinivas Garu to really throw some light that on how this particular kind of transition in Telangana, especially with the land availability and the need to go for the distributed solar with, and rooftop plays a very, very key role here in that. And what kind of challenges you are facing in really taking it to each and every household, especially on a business perspective. And second, I would like to ask you the question on the technology and technical perspective also, especially with the grid perspective, because those are the issues which Telangana utilities are also facing. That what kind of power is coming at the 33 by 11 kV substation, how that particular kind of power need to be for the RTC, and then SLDC comes into role, and then how SLDC is actually managing that particular power. So with these two perspectives, I would like to request you to throw some light so that the direction will be decided. Please.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Srinivas. I represent a company called Renewable Energy LLP. The rooftop solar adoption in Telangana has been at a reasonable level. It's not in the top of the league. However, large number of industries, domestic consumers are adopting it. In Telangana, rooftop solar is one area, and in the distributed segment, we have PM Kusum. PM Kusum has just started in Telangana about a year back. So these two are the areas which is strengthening the distributed solar in Telangana. This is in addition to the about 3,000 megawatt of distributed solar already installed in Telangana over during the period of 2015 to 18. The basic challenges today is technology is not the barrier, but the friction to set up solar plant is the key question. Friction in terms of the rooftop clients' queries regarding initial capex, payback, net metering clarity, and post-installation support. These are the basic questions that clients have. And wherever we are able to address these questions, the adoption is happening, but not at the scale which is required. Now, coming to the question to ask what needs to be, what are the areas which need to be strengthened is, now we have a policy, in terms of policy framework, we need a lot of support from the government and regulations. Today, till about 3 months back, we have a policy limit of 1 megawatt for rooftop solar, either ground mount or rooftop. That has been reduced to 1 megawatt. I feel that's a little reduce the ability to put up solar plants for majority of the clients. Second is behind the meter. Telangana doesn't have a concept of behind the meter. Somebody wants to set up a solar power plant beyond 500 kilowatt. They have the place on the roof or on the ground within their factory or a commercial institute. Then there's no policy today. Whereas in other states like Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, they have a clear-cut policy and regulation to set up. So we wish we have been representing to government, TG Redco and DISCOMs and Regulatory Commission to provide a clear policy. What are the fees are there? What are the charges are there? Industry is ready to pay that. So that will increase rooftop or distributed solar adoption to a large extent. Now, third one is a PM Kusum. PM Kusum is taking off slowly. There are different issues related to bank loans and other issues. But in terms of policy, we have a clear policy for PM Kusum, where I think about 1,700 megawatt of solar power generators have already tied up with TG Redco and respective discoms to go ahead. But my 2 cents on how to speed up this PM Kusum adoption in Telangana vis-a-vis other states. Other front runners are Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan. Compared to them, in order to improve that, there need to be a lot of coordination among the respective agencies, discoms, the banks, and then the TG Redco. If more proactive support is there to the farmers to resolve the issues, it is not at the TG Redco, but it is at the banks level, it's at the different discom minor levels. If a regular coordination and proactive push is there to resolve those issues, I believe the adoption of PM Kusum will speed up. In fact, a lot of more farmers are waiting to see the next level PM Kusum 2.0. They're waiting for the new guidelines. So this is, I think these are the few points which will help speed up distributed solar adoption in Telangana.
Thank you very much for bringing out those particular kind of issues, because PM Kusum as well as Suryaghar, Maharashtra and other states are really moving forward. And with Telangana's leadership, I think those gaps need to be really addressed collectively by discussing in forum like this. And I must thank Assocham to bring all these particular kind of issues to today's podium to discuss and then think about those particular kind of challenges and what kind of policies we can bring in. I think the 2 suggestions have come from the Murli Garu and Srinivas Garu for ma'am to really think and ponder about and to take it forward. With this particular kind of context, when we think about penetration of this renewable energy to that large extent, like somewhere around 18,500 megawatt is the peak demand in Telangana, where 5,000 megawatt is coming from solar and other, and it is going to increase with this particular kind of implementation. With that perspective, the grid readiness, when the behind the meters BTM scene will come, then with the open access also, with my if I am actually not talking about the captive, but then I am putting all the solar power in my each and every premises, though it is industry or commercial segment or the residential segment, the grid readiness has to happen. And we do not have that particular kind of RTC if I consider, and then we do not have that battery support and battery backup where the flexible distribution system as well as the transmission system can work. There I think Rajaramanji's role becomes very, very important in this particular context. And in fact, we are struggling. Means like all thermal power plant, it's the question of the capital investment and the returns on my setting up of my thermal power plant, where thermal power plants are running because of the solar ingress on even 45 to 55% PLF, and I am absorbing. And then whereas my night peak is also in Delhi and Hyderabad, the night peak is also too high. And with that particular kind of night peak, what particular arrangement with the storage we can make, and where is that particular gap for the Telangana government to move ahead, and what kind of policies can be strengthened to promote battery energy storage system as well as the other energy storage systems in India as well as Telangana. Over to you.
Thank you. I think it has been part of great discussions so far. Today, if you were to look at it, India, as a whole, we have more than 150 gigawatt of solar, which is, already commissioned, right? So what it means is that it is not the question of how much of solar can we add anymore. I think that we have shown conclusively that, we are capable to add the solar. Now the challenge is how are we going to sort of make sure that we are able to provide a reliable round-the-clock power, right? So the narrative is shifting from a traditional renewable energy solar adoption to a renewable-based, a reliable power. I think that's where I think so we are undergoing this. I call this as the shift in terms of paradigm shift in terms of how we are evolving on the renewable energy side, and the storage is is going to play a very significant role, in time to come. Today already we are seeing that, with the reduction of solar costs, over the last, several years. For example, 5-7 years back, so the battery energy storage was costing upwards of $400 per kilowatt hour. Today, it has come down by 80%, right? So you're talking about, less than $80 per kilowatt hour. With that, then storage is clearly, turning out to be a right option to provide this intelligent, flexible power coupled with, renewable sources. And of course, the proof is in the pudding. If you see the last 12 months, we had more than 80 gigawatt hour of solar which has been tendered, predominantly through the Power Sector Distribution Fund. And then if you are also seeing that there is also now commissioning is also started coming. The last 2 months alone, we had over 5 gigawatt hour of merchant capacity of storage which got commissioned. So clearly, and the advantage what it is giving is, of course, the traditional solar alone, every one of us are facing that problem where, you are not sort of, the solar during the daytime is so cheap that, the discoms are asking for curtailment, right? And of course, you also sort of, there is a duck curve which is happening where there is a, big difference between the demand versus supply. And of course, this also sort of results in a higher transmission and distribution capacity addition. Storage is a single solution for all of these three, right? In terms of making sure that you are, handling this peak shifting, you are able to, defer this capex which are required on the transmission side. And of course, you are also sort of able to provide a more reliable power. Having said that, okay, so I think to come to this question in terms of what is that, I think maybe if I were to sort of, what is that we need to do as a state of Telangana, I think this is a fantastic position to be in, because the state has an opportunity to lead that from the front, right? So today, if you were to look at it, there is no, what I call it as a national storage policy, even at the national level, leave alone at the state level. You have a national policy for electric vehicles, okay? But the storage is always sort of, so far it is considered as a, an add-on to the existing solution. But the storage will have to be integrated as part of the, as part of a core element of a grid. As much of a generation, as much of a transmission, you would need a storage as part of that. So, if I were to sort of do one, in some which way, bring this, for example, a state level storage vision, right? We had this, some time back, a Telangana EV and, storage policy 2030. We may need to do a EV and storage policy 2.0, right? So that is going to sort of take into account, both of them together. Today, EV is considered as, as a load on the discom, but they are, assets on the, these are all assets which can be used, this can be used, for peak shifting and so on and so forth. So if I were to sort of look, this is one area where, we may need to integrate EV and ESS and also sort of put together this 2.0 policy that can very clearly sort of see how are we going to be the, front runner from a storage perspective. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much to throw light on the need, means urgent need of the energy storage policy in the state of Telangana as well as at national policy. I think those particular kind of things are really going to strengthen the entire grid. But then the real question is also coming up. The demand is, we have reached to 18,000 megawatt and then peak demand is also increasing. But at the same time, the future city and then Hyderabad is really thinking about the large data centers which are coming up. And we have Mr. Rishik ji. What do you think here with all this discussion going on the energy transition? Where do you put the data centers in this entire power system ecosystem? And where do you feel that the power requirement which is coming from, from the power demand which is coming from the data center, how do you actually put that from where you are going to source this power from the grid or the energy transition, and how Telangana should plan to power the data centers in future?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, just thank you for everyone on the dais for their opinions. But see, primarily data centers, when they were coming into the system, like maybe 5 years ago, data centers were probably following the grid. So wherever there would be power, data centers would be going across there. But on the opposite paradigm right now, it is where the grid is following the data center. And a particular example is Future City, right? Where the Honorable CM, the Deputy CM are planning across different power that could be available for data centers as an entity that could grow. But in summary, like if you would ask me, maybe a 50 megawatt data center 4 years, 5 years ago would be a big data center that we're talking about. But right now, people are only talking maybe 500 plus for each and every data center. So the scale is increased in such a way that we have not able to imagine because of the AI loads that have been coming in, the semiconductors that have sort of been coming in. So the demand is only going to skyrocket in the next few years. And how the grid is going to handle it is a discussion that we are having with different state governments that we are sort of working with. Also with the Telangana government being very helpful to us to sort of find solutions to get us the requisite power for the data centers that are there. But there's no answer right now except for increasing the grid infrastructure that is there to cater to the loads. And the short-term solution is to take it from the grid. But on a long term, the only solution is building across a comprehensive, interconnected grid capable of handling the loads that we are talking about, right? In India, right now, the data center IT load is between 1500 to 1600 megawatt of IT load that is there. But maybe in the next 5 years, we might go to even a 5x to a 10x increase. So we're talking about catering to almost a 12 to 15 gigawatt of data center capacity alone across different states that is there. So it's a matter of each state having their own regulations to cater to data centers that are there, right? Hyderabad being a hotspot, one of the hotspots in the country, and Mumbai being another one that are two primary drivers of the data center that is there. But I think regulatory, a lot of governments are releasing up data center policies, allowing incentives for power related requirements for the data center. The next step would be in the likes of Telangana, and Telangana is like home to us. This is where control has started across 20 years, so we're a lot more attached to this state that we operate out of. And I think integrating green energy going see right now when we talk about green power being available, we are talking about allowance of maybe 70 to 80% of RE power that's readily available as a solution, right? Either through a SECI or an NTPC or people like us doing our own captive requirements. So I think the integration is the key in terms of how we are able to integrate the grid infrastructure at the same time allowing green power to sort of flow in, because all the hyperscalers that operate out of India and outside India, sustainability is the biggest keyword for them. So integrating both is something that we need to sort of look forward to.
So coming back to you only, I mean, like we'll go to other people. Like the integration, when you think about for the data centers and all, what kind of integration you are thinking about? Means if it is a solar or battery energy storage system or the standalone kind of battery energy storage system for you and then connect the grid. So what kind of pathway which you are thinking to support the data centers as far as the energy demand is concerned? And what is your one-line suggestion to the Telangana government to quickly take it up, that issue, though it is regulation, technology, or the operational issue? What is your that suggestion to Telangana government?
I'll come to the one-line suggestion later. But see, the primary aspect that I just mentioned earlier is there are solutions to go to 80-85% of RE. That includes solar, wind, and a battery level of storage that is there. And we can go up to 100%, but in the end, it's all about a price-sensitive market for that requirement, right? And I think the integration, see, Telangana has a decent potential of wind, right? Not at the level that is there in maybe a Tamil Nadu or a Gujarat that is there. We have a very good potential of solar. We also happen to have a good potential of pump storage that is there, right? It's not, so I think having all of these in place and then having maybe a mix of thermal to sort of give across that from 85 to 100 is something that we will need to do in the short term to achieve 100% power requirement if we are going for an as-is basis. But the other way that we can, and the Telangana government, see, they're already helping us a lot to sort of do for the data centers that is there. But I think a policy that allows for hybrid, and I speak for the data center business, right, is to allow that hybrid RE power for the data centers to sort of allow us to get to that power requirement. And the second stance is obviously improving the grid infrastructure, right? Because if we are talking 2 to 5 gigawatt on an immediate basis, the grid infrastructure needs to be multiplied, and the challenges that come associated with improving grid infrastructure, right, from planning to execution. I think those are aspects that the government is already working towards. So I think because of the pace that has come in, because of the AI workloads, so I think it just needs to be done at a 2x speed from now.
Thanks, Rishik. Based on this context, my next question to Murli Garu, because this particular kind of integration of hybrid storage as well as the pump storage, in Telangana, pump storage is like, even the policy is there, the EV and storage policy talks about the pump storage, but very slow movement is going on as compared to other states. So where do you see that the entire energy transition development in Telangana, and what are those very, very key loopholes for Telangana government to take it from this discussion to immediately work on in future for, say, the short term, to achieve the short term goal and the long term goal? So what do you think to strengthen the Telangana in this energy transition?
Probably a very tough question to actually provide solutions for, but I think if you see the way things are progressing in the country, I think I will once again second what Rishik had been talking about. Hybridization is the key. Getting to a firm and dispatchable renewable energy is what we have been doing in the other parts of the country. So I think we have now done with a plain vanilla solar or a plain vanilla wind project. In fact, at Access Energy, whatever projects we are implementing, as we speak, we are implementing around 3.5 gigawatt of projects on ground, which are grounded in various stages of construction. And nowhere it's a mere wind or a mere solar project. Everywhere we are talking about a firm and dispatchable renewable energy where we have added storage, And the nation is moving towards, I think, if we are talking transition, we are transiting towards adopting more of renewable energy, but at the same time also bringing it a lot of firmness to the dispatch. And today, as we speak, we are talking about only meeting the peak load demands. The storage gets restricted to meeting the peak load demands. While pump storage is a great battery to have, the challenge with pump storage is the element of approvals and process and the kind of construction lifetime it actually requires. So the best timeline for a pumped storage to come up and become operational is anywhere between 5 to 8 years. Okay, 5 is also a very ambitious timeline that I'm actually putting in place. So 7 to 8 years, or if you hit some ecological issues, probably it must be much higher also. So I think, secondly, I will also take clue from what Rajaramanji has been talking about. The government of India themselves have come up with a nighttime connectivity. So nighttime connectivity is utilization of the grid infrastructure during the nighttime. And most of the solar projects or any other projects can actually be set up only to charge the battery during the day. And we will discharge this power during the peak load requirements or during the nighttime connectivity, because most of the infrastructure that has been built for evacuating the renewable energy across the country lies idle during the nighttime. So I think nighttime connectivity and storage, and I think integrating all sources of energy, and with whatever are the available plants that are running right now. So probably the nighttime connectivity concept at a state level is something which will start working, because 2015-17 there had been a lot of solar projects that have been set up in the state of Telangana, of course of a smaller size, in multiples of 50, 25 megawatt kind of things. So all these fellows can be brought into a storage, and probably a policy aligning to that would actually bring in some firmness to the grid, and maybe the floating solar and adding a similar kind of a storage. I think go around and you probably end up at storage. So storage becomes very critical. So while we are adopting a lot of green energy, I think getting a lot of storage in place is also going to be very important. And like he has been talking about, the capex for setting up storage has also come down drastically. So I think we should grow beyond peak hour supply, and we should try to make it more of a firm supply. I think at a national level, what we have been doing is what we probably have to adopt for the state of Telangana also.
Thank you very much. In fact, yeah, you brought it up in a very, very effective way, which will go directly the inputs to the ma'am to create the policies on even the nighttime connectivity and the storage implementation. Before I go to Raja Ramanji, I would like to ask Srinivas Garu, with all these particular kind of discussions here, what do you feel? Because the industrial customers as well as the residential customers where you are dealing with, what are those key issues, as you mentioned, the behind the meter and all? But apart from that, means like the open access and all, to connect these particular kind of dots to strengthen their involvement and then bring them in the mainstream and then penetrate more, as you mentioned, as compared to the Maharashtra and other states. So what are those key points to give it to ma'am?
Yeah. Today technology is available for both for renewables, storage, everything is available. What is required is a policy certainty, policy clarity. It is required at every level, like starting from a net metering to open access. So we have a clear-cut open access policy and regulation, at least for the last 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years since the new government came in. But the implementation-wise, we are not seeing a single megawatt of project on the ground. So we wanted the speed at which the policy need to be implemented need to be increased significantly. Telangana is one of the states bestowed with good sunlight and high potential for solar, though the land cost is costly. Still, there's a high potential for solar and solar plus storage. So policy certainty, policy implementation is the most important. And when it comes to open access policy, well, the policy is clear. Still, there are many doubts, like many noise, like the solar capacity allowed will be up to contract demand or more than that. What is going to be banking, how the banking is going to be interpreted by the officers or by the department or SLDC. A lot of clarity is required in that. So speed up the implementation as well as give clarity in all these aspects is very important. Third thing which I request is, as Madam is saying, there's a lot of high-level committees being formed with a vision to implement 30 gigawatt. We again request the government to involve the industry as part of your think tank. lot of knowledge is available in pumped energy storage, battery energy storage within Telangana. We have a lot of companies on the dais and off the dais. So kindly involve the industry as a stakeholder in your policy formulation, in your draft policy, or release it for discussion. Speed it up so that industry could give its input to make the policy in such a way that the implementation becomes faster and easier. The industry is waiting. Telangana has the industrial base. What it needs is the policy support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, yeah, that is what we are here, Minister. We can take it up all those things to Minister and then Ma'am. But before I go to Ma'am for final kind of her inputs on the entire discussion today, I would just like to ask one question to Raja Ramanji, because Telangana is also in energy transition. It shows the leadership right from the beginning. Even in the pump storage, Greenco is here. They have created huge space. They have, as you mentioned, 5 to 6 years, but they are showcasing that how to reduce that particular kind of timeline to really go for that particular kind of large-scale, utility-scale battery storage and then have the flexible grid transmission system. But apart from the pump storage, when I really talk about the battery energy storage system, which technologies, because as Telangana industries are here, which technology you are really looking into that, whether it is lithium iron phosphate or whether it is nickel magnesium cobalt, or what kind of technology you are envisaging so that my industry in Telangana actually can move forward and then have that preparedness for battery energy storage system, even the behind the meter and all. Over to you, Raja.
Yeah, so technology question, I have seen multiple answers, but I'll give you my view. I strongly believe that there is no single technology which is going to be a winner, right? So it's going to be technology which is going to be tailored for a certain specific application. Today, LFP, the lithium ferrophosphate, is a leading contender, especially for utility scale and C&I energy storage projects, mainly because I think it has, shown its provenness, in terms of longer life cycle, in terms of safety, in terms of, in general, large-scale adoption, because you have over 3 terawatt-hour of, LFP manufacturing capacity globally. But having said that, I also believe the other chemistries, for example, NMC, is going to be, useful for a certain specific mobility application where energy density is going to be paramount, right? So which cannot be fulfilled from LFP, you would need. But I am also very particularly fond of, for example, sodium ion technology, right? Because clearly, India, unfortunately is not endowed with a lot of critical minerals. Sodium ion as a technology, does not need as much of critical minerals such as, manganese and phosphorus and all of that kind of thing. Sodium ion is something that I believe, with a right push, especially now that we are talking about from a Telangana state, focusing on certain specific innovations on the battery chemistry, sodium ion could be a great contender maybe in the next, maybe 5 years or so. There are also going to be fortunately in this industry, the technology is constantly evolving. Maybe 2-3 years down the line in the same forum, maybe we will be talking about, newer cathodes and newer anodes. We'll be talking about solid state batteries. We'll be talking about aluminum air. We may be talking about lithium sulfur and so on and so forth. But I think clearly what we may need to do is just not sort of place our bet on one chemistry, because unfortunately today, lithium-based chemistries, we are reliant on import. No matter what we do, we still have, the petrodollars is moving from Middle East to, lithium dollars to China. That is something that we should avoid in the long term, actually.
Beautifully said. Thank you very much. In fact, when we talk about the energy security, obviously the petrodollar moving to the Chinese lithium dollar. With that perspective, ma'am, now the final question to you. With all these perspective, I couldn't touch the EV charging station. I would request you to for EV charging also. But with all these perspective, where do you see? Means where, because people raise the question on the policy adoption, faster adoption of the policy. Where do you see that? What is the gap in the faster adoption of the policy, especially across all the segments, as well as the EV and EV charging implementation? I request you to please.
when it comes to data centers, we are expecting almost 5,000 megawatts of load by 2030. And our ERC has issued demood license for 300 megawatts and above. I think it's a good move. And one more thing, we have applied for 19 gigawatts GNA. And we are expecting that. And there won't be any corridor issues. And when it comes to network development and Transco and Discoms, they are taking up many works regarding infrastructure development. Right now, I think this will provide evacuation facilities. And when it comes to the concern raised by Srinivas Garu, so I do agree. We released the policy last year in the month of January, already 1.5 years over. So we started issuing open access to some of the sectors. The pharmaceutical companies, we started issuing open access capacities to pharmaceutical, steel, spinning, hospitals and data centers. And in the second phase, the chances are more that we extend to much more sectors. And behind the meter, we are preparing the guidelines. We can expect within 2-3 weeks. Okay, and one more thing, when it comes to Kusum, we started it very late. So all the states started in 2021 and 22, I think. We started in the year of 2024. And we have received highest number of applications, and we did highest number of PPAs. And Srinivas Garu also knows in the initial stages, banks were offering loans at the interest of 11.25 to 11.5% with a timeline of 10 years max. And we had discussions with banks, and now they are offering loans at 8.75% and with a duration of 15 years. And I think this is big achievement from government side, because our secretaries conducted many meetings with the bankers. And when it comes to the evacuation, many amendments we did, and we are allowing double circuit lines. We are allowing to take off 2-3 plants on a single line, means 3 megawatts, up to 3 megawatts on single 11 kV line. All these things we did. I do agree there is a gap between farmers and bankers. I think this is also sorted out. And we are expecting much more groundings in coming 2-3 months. And when it comes to EV, so recently I also purchased EV vehicle, and I am facing a lot of problems when I go out of the city. See, it took 9 hours for me to come from Asifabad to Hyderabad. So I didn't get, I went to 3-4 charging stations. All are in the off condition, but on the application it is showing it is available. So there's many problems I faced. And as of now, we have 1,100 charging stations in Telangana, and many are located in Hyderabad. Around 600 are located in Hyderabad, and majority are 60 kilowatt chargers. So now we are giving approvals for 120 kilowatts and 320 kilowatts charges also. And there are a lot of EV hubs coming up. And when we go by consumption, we take consumption data. In the last year, it increased 4 times. Under category 9, that is EV consumption, electrical vehicle consumption, increased 4 times. Then you can think about it. Our registrations in 24, Transport Department released one GO, exemption from registration and road tax. After that, the rate of registrations increased drastically. Previously, it was 210 vehicles per day. Now it is 250 to 260 vehicles per day registrations. And we are taking up many electric charging stations in this PM E-Drive. We have already submitted proposals. We got approvals for some of the proposals. And we are proposing almost 350 charging stations, the 240 kilowatts and 120 kilowatts in the city. And outside the city, we proposed almost 400 to 500 charging stations on highways. And all these are government sites. And when it comes to PPP mode, we have received 700 applications from the public, and we forwarded all the applications to MHI, and we are expecting approvals for that also. And from tomorrow onwards, BHEL team is coming to check all these sites, and we expect almost 1,500 more charging stations in a year, and this reduces most of our problems regarding EV charging. And I expect support from all the industry and EV charge point operators and charger manufacturers to complete this EV charging infrastructure fast. And, thank you, Rajkiran, for giving this opportunity. And, thank you, Assocham.
Thank you very much, ma'am. In fact, you have given the entire roadmap of Telangana energy transition. And though you mentioned that though it is late, but then the government is really active and acting fast to adopt it and then implement. And I think the entire discussions today, really they were very, very effective. And I feel ASCII along with Assocham will actually have this, we will jot down, and then whatever the suggestions and requests and are there, we will pass it to you to take it forward. Thank you, Murli Garu. Thank you, Venkatji. Thanks, Srinivas Garu, and thanks, Rishik, for the wonderful discussion. And I thank Assocham for giving us an opportunity to share our views and points here. And I thank all of you for waiting and joining. And then let us close this. Thank you, ma'am.